Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Talking Volleyball here on the Spoli Sports Network. We are coming to you live tonight from Carmine's in Woodbury, Minnesota. It's the 14th of October, and we're going to be talking some volleyball tonight. It's the second week of high school competition, and most teams have 2 or 3 games in, so they're starting to get a little feel for how their team is going to be doing, and they got some of their conference competition in. Tonight, if you tuned in on the Eastridge JV channel, you saw the Raptors take care of Park of Cottage Grove tonight. Mike, tell us a little bit about how the match went.
It was a good match, some back and forth. It was a 3-set thriller, and so, the teams worked hard and they played hard, and there was lots of back and forth action. So there was no clear dominant team. It was just solid volleyball all the way around. Yeah,
this is a match that went three sets. Normally, of course, in JV and B squad and so forth, they play best 2 out of 3. This one went to 3 sets, and it was an exciting match. And you probably, if you're tuning into this, maybe you've got a chance to check out that live stream earlier. If not, you can go on the Eastridge volleyball site and find that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit tonight about Northfield Raiders. They have 3 matches in. Last night we had a good victory over Red Wing, the Wingers, in straight sets, and they have improved to 3-0. So we'll talk a little bit more about Northfield just a little bit later in the broadcast here. We got some interviews with players and coaching staff and so forth that we'll give you that on. But Mike, give us a little bit of a summary tonight of Eastridge. We're going to talk about, I think, mostly 9A, JV, and varsity. Kind of give you a summary of how that went and maybe some basic stats on where things are at for those teams. So, go ahead and let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was good. As I mentioned, the 9A team took care of Park, 2-set victory. Or maybe my memory is failing me. Could have been a 3-set. But the JV for sure was 3-set. Park came out strong, took the first set off of the JV team, and Eastridge battled back in 2 and ended up taking the 3rd set pretty well. We don't stream the varsity matches. Our friends at Prep Sport Spotlight.tv do that. Encourage you to tune in to watch the varsity matches on that channel. Good supporters of the education system in Minnesota, so we're happy to work alongside with them. I will say, the Eastridge varsity team, while we didn't see it live on the Spoli Sports Network, off to a pretty good start. Their hitting percentage is for the season .341, 30 aces, 157 digs, 15 blocks. So, tonight was about in that same ballpark. I think they hit .381 against Park tonight in a 3-set victory. Aces 9. Digs 52, so Park put up a good fight for us this evening. They have some solid players on that side. Very scrappy defensively, that Park team, and so kept the ball in play.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. And, again, like you mentioned, they kept coming back, and it seemed like they were really fired up on their side too, and that's nice to see. You get a little bit of success. Even if you don't win the match, you have some moments that you can take away from that, some keys to take forward into your next week. And build on that. So I thought they did a very good job, stayed competitive, and it was nice to see that. So just an impressive set of display of skills, I think, all the way around. It's really good.
Yeah, fun night in the perch this evening.
For sure. So we're going to talk a little bit about some other high school sports that are going on. As most of you know, football has restarted. I think everybody has one week in the books. I will mention anybody in Northfield is not going to want to hear this, but we did lose to Faribault last week. Kudos to the Falcons for picking up the first win against Northfield since 1988.
And I understand that was a game filled with free football, if you will.
Overtime
football.
There were 2 overtimes in this game. This was a game that was, I believe, 7-6 going into the 4th quarter. And then all of the fireworks started. There was a lot of back and forth at the end, and I believe the final score was 30-28 in favor of the Faribault Falcons. And there's a little trophy that's played for down there called the Cannon Trophy. And they were pretty thrilled on their side to walk off with that Cannon Trophy. We took that back from them about 3 years ago here. And I know there were a lot of happy kids on that Faribault side to pick up that trophy. So it was an exciting game and a great night for football.
Disappointing for Northfield, but at the same time, it's just nice to see joy and thrill in these athletes. The seniors and even the juniors, their high school career has suffered from this COVID environment we're living in. So, it's tough to see joy and elation through a sport, which gives them something else to focus on.
Right. Yeah.
It's positive, I think.
I think that is a big thing. We maybe complain about it, some of the rules and things we have to live under, but it is better than a situation where we aren't able to play these sports at all and these kids would have no opportunity. So I think that's the positive takeaway here is, hey, it's not perfect. There's restrictions on the number of fans that can attend. There's a lot of rules about social distancing and mask wearing and all that sort of thing. But, hey, we are playing the game. We're having competitive games, and anybody who went to this game did have to admit it was really good, despite what side you might have been on. They were thrilled to have football back. It was a perfect evening, and that was certainly good. Soccer, we're in postseason. I know we saw over at the Raptors Nest tonight, we saw soccer going on. I don't know if we have any final scores on those.
I know the girls won in a shootout. When we left the facility, the boys were down 2-1, so I don't know how that finished off.
So soccer has been approved to have section tournaments only, and that was an issue that came up just today. If you want to go into the Star Trib, you'll see this article, but I did see that there was a proposal made by a group of coaches to the MSHSL. This was a proposal that was led by the Edina girls coach, Katie Offett, and the line that was given back to them after their proposal is a Hall & Oates song, "No Can Do." And that was the ruling that came down primarily from Eric Martens, who's the executive director of the MSHSL. And he said, as much as we'd love to do this, we're on your side. We'd love to be able to have more opportunities for these kids to play a state tournament. But we just cannot take that risk. We can't pull the logistics together to make that happen. There's too many unknowns here, and we're just going to have to say no to that. So
well, and there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, there's facilities, right? At the bare minimum, you've got to get facilities, and that's significant money, significant investment. And as you mentioned, Jim, who knows, right? Who knows what teams will be there? Who knows how the pandemic will evolve? And so, yeah, I understand the position.
Yeah, I think that's, it's nice that people are, I think, making those proposals and trying, but at the same time you have to accept the decisions that come from the powers that be, and that's where things are at. So anyway, for the Raiders, the soccer is tomorrow night. Both teams are playing, girls and boys. Girls are at 5, I believe. The boys are at 7. Both teams had really good seasons. The boys especially, I believe, have only one loss to Austin, who's kind of the power in our area. And I believe we're taking on Farmington. And right off the top of my head, I'm not going to come up with who the girls are playing, but they go at 5. So, if you're in Northfield, you want to come out and see that, definitely give a check out to soccer. That's been really good. They've had good crowds for whatever's allowed. They've had really good seasons, and definitely go and give them some support. So, of course, you're starting to see talk now about winter sports, and that's going to be the next big thing. What are we going to do about basketball, hockey, and some of the wrestling, some of the other winter sports? Where are they going to fall in this? That's certainly going to be a lot of the discussion. So,
I think we have a caller here, Jim, if we want to take that call here. Good evening, caller. This is Spoli Sports Network. Who do we have, and where are you from?
Hey, this is Coach Nate Lears calling in. Just noticed.
Well, Coach Nate.
Oh, man. It's
welcome
good
to the show.
Welcome.
Just can't have a beer in a quiet night, huh?
No.
Well,
we have a beer.
We have a beer.
Yeah. So what's happening tonight?
Well, we're covering the East Ridge Park Cottage Grove match tonight. I came down and took a few photos for the East Ridge folks, and Mike and Tom were doing the live streaming for the JV match. They're not allowed to do the varsity match because that is covered by Prep Spotlight TV. But they had an excellent job. They've gone through a lot of things here in the last couple of weeks. Mike can talk a little bit more about that. A lot of technical difficulties with the app and with YouTube and making all of this stuff work. But he's overcome a lot of different things here in the last week and had a good broadcast today and yesterday.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, but it has not been easy. So, Coach Nate, I say Coach Nate because I believe you are a coach. Have you heard anything around the situation at our favorite club?
Well, I'll be there on Sunday. We're gonna do our coaches meeting, and then the next 2 Sundays we'll have tryouts. So
Okay.
Sunday I'll find out a little bit more about the season. But as you know, I think most things are kind of up in the air
Fluid.
as we go.
It's a fluid situation.
Yep, definitely fluid. Yeah. So I think they put some stuff out on social media about a tournament in January. The January thaw will be in Omaha.
Yeah, I did see that.
Year. And I think the Lights qualifier is going to be pushed into May.
Okay.
And Colorado Crossroads is still, I think they're still looking into that. But I think they might look into splitting it up into multiple weeks and multiple locations so that there's less teams in, one convention center.
Yeah, that's such a big tournament. There's so many teams there, and it's just a massive facility. So I'm sure that there's a lot of things that have to come into play there logistically to pull that off. We came really close to going to that tournament last year. Had all their vehicles packed up. Some people were en route already, and then the word came down that wasn't going to happen. So we certainly hope. That's a great tournament. It's well run, and I really love going out there. So I hope that one can come off. That's for sure.
Denver's an excellent host city, and we did have some parents, in fact, get to Denver, unfortunately, prior to the message. So they spent the day in the Denver airport and returned home. But that was kind of the onset to the pandemic here is what really started to shut down of the entire season. Yeah.
After that, it was a lot of things just didn't happen. I think maybe a few tournaments did come off, but certainly it was the beginning of the end, that's for sure. So I noticed you're riding your bike a lot, getting out and enjoying the fall weather. How's that going?
Yeah, I did a nice little ride, set a personal record on my road bike on Saturday. I think that might be one of the last times I ride. Well, I don't know. I don't like the cold weather biking, so
okay.
I don't know how many more rides I'll get in, but.
Well, now you need to get a fat bike.
That's
and
right.
get some winter clothes and head off to either Murphy or Lebanon Hills and give it a go. That's the latest hot thing.
Yeah, I could do that, or I might just cross train. I do have some downhill skis that I barely use, so
okay.
This might be the winter for that.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on how much snow we get. And I enjoy cross-country skiing, but that one is really at the whim of the weather unless you go to Highland and Bloomington where they make snow on about a 5 to 6K loop. Anybody else who's in natural snow is just going to be at the whim of Mother Nature. So, if we get a lot of snow, we'll be getting the skis out. If not, the fat bike is a good option, that's for sure.
Nate, I might recommend throwing the skis on your back, biking to Buck Hill, and then downhill skiing. That'd be my recommendation.
That would be the ultimate.
I have seen people do that. They have rigged up different systems to carry their skis. I've seen this in Northfield where they will rig up something with their bike. They ride over to Carleton's Lower Arb where there's trails that are groomed for classic skiing, and you can get off your bike and do about a 6-7K loop in the woods and come back and ride home. So it is something that would work out, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe I just get a snowmobile.
That would work as well.
That works too. Yeah, definitely. So what else? Other things going on? Glad you called in. But yeah, let us know what else you're up to here and what your outlook is here for the season coming up.
Oh yeah, just subbed indoor volleyball league tonight. So playing a little volleyball yet. Doing some house projects. While I have some free time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying to wrap up a lot of those projects, and when the weather starts to turn like it is tonight, it's windy and it's starting to drop, I think, temperature-wise. So, we'll have to see how that all wraps up here. But, any other thoughts for the program here while we got you on the air?
Nope, I can let you guys go. I think think I had Kira calling me. I don't know if she was calling me to tell me to call in.
Well, I got Connie Galvin calling me on my phone here.
There's
so
all sorts of activity here.
We're winging it here again. We're live at Carmine's in Woodbury here tonight, and it's a good time. We've set up in the corner here, and they haven't thrown us out yet, so I think it's going to be okay. But yeah, appreciate you calling in, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Excellent host here in Carmine.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know when there's a game I can come to.
All right, sounds good. We'll work that out. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you.
Thank you for calling in, Coach Nate.
Take care.
Bye, guys. All
right, Nate Layers, coach of 17 Red that in the abbreviated season that we had at Lights this year. He also helped us out a lot with arranging the sand matches that we had. He was a big part of that when we did the match with East Ridge and with the 17 Red team. So
a little crowd getting fired up a little bit here.
We're getting some.
It must be the Booster Club, East Ridge Booster Club president, Connie Galvin.
I might have that title, but I'm not going to represent tonight.
You're not going to represent?
No, I think we're going to go rogue.
Oh, we're going rogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we covered the logos.
Well, no, I can still be East Ridge representation,
Okay.
just not a booster representation.
Not as an official.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Exactly.
This is an unofficial event.
Not sanctioned.
Not sanctioned.
Right.
Yeah.
I could lose my job because,
Your high-paying job.
I do get paid the big bucks for this. Haven't seen it, but well.
Yeah, it's coming. It's
all,
in the mail. The check
right
is
here.
in the mail.
It's right here.
Okay.
It's right here.
It's all in the love.
That's right. What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about volleyball. We're kind of reviewing the matches tonight. Pretty good results for the Raptors, I think. In general, what were your thoughts on the match tonight?
I had a different viewpoint tonight than I've had in the past, where I got to run the scoreboard. So that was really interesting, and it was really hard not to cheer for the kids. And anyone might have seen me going, yes. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I can't do that.
One advantage of masks, you can't really tell
I know
who's saying what. So
I'm finding myself talking. I'm able to talk to myself, and nobody can hear it. I don't know if that's a personal problem or what, but anyway, the mask hides a little bit of that if you're muttering some things to yourself. So
Jim, probably one of the first times you've been in East Ridge to watch a game? Or
I've been one other time. We came down a couple of years ago when Faith was playing, and Laura and Faith had been on the same team, and a few that knew her came from Northfield, and that was my first time in high school. So.
All right. What was your perspective on the game?
I thought it was.
Jaded.
I thought it was really good. I thought both sides played well. I do think that Park did not back down. I mean, they kept coming at us, and
they did. They had some
that was
solid
good.
players.
And it's nice to see that. I think, we suffer from some of the same things in our conference, the Big Nine in Southern Minnesota, where there's a lot of lopsided lineups of these teams. There's some teams that are really good and some that are really struggling, and I think you can kind of see some of them get kind of demoralized by the scores and things like that. But I do think that Park did a good job of keeping in there. They were excited. They were bringing a lot of energy and maintained as much as they could in that match. So I thought that part was really good.
I agree, and I think they had some really good leadership and some girls who were fiery, and they were sticking to it, and they had some really great volleys between both teams, actually, and some surprising moves. We had Cameron Greenwald with the kick move.
Yeah, I wish I'd have got that. I watched it, but I didn't have the shutter button on that one. That would have been really good.
I wish you would caught that too.
Yeah.
You're going to work on that for next time.
We'll have
I
to
will.
take
I'm
that
going
one
to
off
get
of video.
those foot kicks.
Yeah, that was a good play, and then there were a couple of other ones. I think Park had a really good one. We thought the ball was dead, and and I heard Mike go, "It's still up," and I was like, "Dude, you can't say that."
You didn't hear me. I didn't have a man. I mean, it wasn't me.
I didn't see.
Must have been somebody behind me.
Yeah, I think it's really good to see those long rallies too. Sometimes you don't get that at certain matches. You get a lot of very short rallies, but there were a couple of long ones in there, and that really builds the excitement for the match. And if you win one of those, you really are jacked up after that. Even if you don't win it, I just think it builds a lot of energy.
Yeah, I was impressed at Park's scrappiness.
Yeah.
They hustled, they worked hard, they kept the ball in play. It was fun to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jaded because I'm a dad of a defensive specialist, but I always think it's really fun to see those defensive plays, these things like the kick, or some of these other wild saves that these girls are able to make. It's just really fun to watch that, and as well as the attacks, that's great as well. But man, these defensive plays that they're able to make are just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you think about just the reaction of these girls and most of them have had, a lot of training over the years and things like that, but just their willpower and their reaction, their knowledge of the game of just to keep the ball up. And, that kick could have gone sailing to the wall, but it's like they still made plays out of it. I think we saw a lot of that on both sides of the net, that these girls kept making plays out of things that probably would have fallen, if they had just given up. But yeah, it was fun to watch.
Really no giving up on either side of the net. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. I think you are officially the scorebook guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's I'm proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think promotion.
Has anyone looked at the scoreboard to actually see what I'm writing? I'm actually writing song lyrics. I'm writing scripts for the podcast.
The ref seems to be happy with it.
Well, it's because we were talking about Vegas and
you had
Vegas
the hand.
Kind of rocks,
you had
and I had
motion.
the hand. Hand things. Yep, good. Yep, we're good. We're good. That's a good song line.
And when I would just keep scoring, and then you'd be like, I said, "Do you have this?" "Yep, I have that." And I'm like, well, "Really?"
It's there. It's written somewhere.
Yeah. It's more important what you have than what I have.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are learning some different things that they maybe wouldn't otherwise. They're asking a lot of parents to step in as line judges or keep the score or whatever, things that normally we wouldn't be doing. But that's kind of nice too. It gives you a little bit of a change up. And
it's equal opportunity. Tom and I were commenting during the JV match that the initial lines judge for the JV match was none other than head varsity volleyball coach Steve Anderson.
Really?
And so that was, he picked up where he needed to pick up, and he went out and did some line judging. And after a few points, somebody came in. But, we're in an interesting environment where everyone's got to pitch in.
Right.
No one's above the grade.
No, and I think you're going to see more of that if that's what it takes to keep this going and keep these kids playing. If everybody has to pitch in and do their thing in different ways, I think that's a good outcome. And
I think that's what's the best part about this is all of us just want to see our kids play. This is a very tough time for high school students, for all of us for that matter, but getting them on the court and helping to support what they do and what they love is, it's all in all of our best interests.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree 100%. Yep.
Good.
All right. Your blank stares at me right now are like, I don't have anything else for you.
No.
So
What other?
who else can get the head?
What else you got? See, here's the beauty. They're all looking over there in paranoia about what are they saying about us, and we can say whatever they want, and they don't know.
Nobody knows.
They're not tuned in. They don't know.
Well, we could go. Like I said, I'm feeling like a little rogue tonight. So you may have. I think the volleyball thing, I think we've kind of nailed that one on the head of, the outcome of the game, and that both teams played really hard. They played well. And so now we could have a special guest appearance by Tommy B.
Tommy B.
Your co-host for JV games.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
So have you guys ever thought about doing some more like ad hoc things for special occasions and getting some different interviews?
Yeah.
We've done some. We've kind of run a we call it Talking Volleyball, but we hit the brew pubs. So we kind of do a brew pub volleyball discussion. We did a lot of that as things were ever changing in the with COVID. So yeah, we try.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anybody else who wants to jump in and throw in their 2 cents, or if you have any other topics you'd like to discuss too, we're open to just talk about just about anything, So.
Yep.
Continuing on the volleyball theme.
We could continue on that.
Yeah,
so
I think
we got some fun things coming up. I think I think programs across the board is what can everybody do as far as making this the best season that you can and make it more meaningful for these players. Like you said, we are trying as parents to do what we can to motivate and continue and create what has been done, especially for the seniors and these girls who have come up through the ranks. And it is a very unique year for sure, and how long it lasts we don't know, and we hope it's not that long. But I know, like, celebrating our seniors, celebrating, we've got some youth ideas coming up. Just those girls who want to get into the program, what can we do and not get discouraged by nothing happened this year. So like keeping alive what has been tradition and moving forward from that perspective of as much as we can do within the parameters that we're allowed. And it's great that every so often we get a little bit more back to what we have been able to do. It all looks very different, but it's all good. The positive movement.
Right.
So,
yeah, I wish we could solve the challenge of student section, right? These players, like it's their classmates, and I know there's been some discussion around how would you do that, and it's really hard. You just can't. And we try to get energy in the gym. We got 2 tickets per player, and you get the parents in there, but it's just not the same of playing with your peers in a high school event. And so I don't think that's a solvable challenge, but I know for these kids, like to your point, Connie, what can we do to help make it a good environment for them?
Well, this is something Laura brought up last night. She said, is there one match we could pick that maybe the parents donate all of their tickets to the students just to have one match with the student section there?
Sure.
And maybe that's something that could happen. But she made a special note of that we did have great support last year. We look back and as well, we had a great season, and there was great support from the student section. And I know they're missing that this year. Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of a little bit low key. I think there's maybe a thought of we shouldn't be cheering as loudly just because of, again, trying to stop the spread of this thing. And you could just kind of hear it was, despite people wanting to cheer, there was kind of we're going to hold back a little bit here.
I got this darn mask on my face.
I got this mask,
and
nobody can hear. I'm just going to sit here, and it's quiet in the gym, and I know they'd love to have the students. So
maybe we need some cowbell.
Yeah. Well, let's switch back to volleyball. We're going to talk real quick about Northfield again, and for those of you on the live stream, you're not going to hear this, but I'm going to do a recorded version of this and add in some interviews and things that we did last night. But last night we did have Northfield defeating Red Wing in 3 sets, a comfortable victory again for the Raiders. We have the rest of the week off. It is MEA this week, so they're going to be preparing for their next competition next Tuesday at Owatonna. They are off to a pretty good start. Owatonna's, I think, rebuilding a little bit, but they're 2-1 this season, right behind us and Rochester Century. We are tied with Century at 3-0 for the start of the season. That's a good program. We expect a competitive match from them. So, and at this point, we're going to go to some interviews here with Coach Tim Torstensen, as well as our setter Tegan Timperley, and one of our outsides, Rachel Weber. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Raiders head coach Tim Torstensen. Tim, great victory tonight. Of course, we've been starting and stopping the season. We've had delays. We had club come in and offer an option for the players, and now the season's back on. Good news is we're playing volleyball. How's the team been coping with all of this up and down?
I think pretty well. It was the training sessions we had to begin with were kind of, the State High School League's way of putting a Band-Aid on the problem, I think. And so it was good. I was glad they decided to actually have the season. Most of our girls went up, or a lot of them went up and continued to play even when high school season was going on with their club teams. So I think we've kind of hit the ground running because our girls are playing a lot of the year anyway. And we're back training with their high schools or their clubs and with us. So I think for us, it's just getting used to playing with each other again. But I think the skill level is there. It's just getting used to each other again.
All right, and of course we're in a conference-only season, and in recent history we are one of the top teams in the conference. So we're missing out on some of the weekend tournaments where you see really high-level competition and some strong non-cons this year, including we would have been playing Egan if things had gone according to Hoyle. So what does the team have to do to kind of maintain the intensity throughout the conference season and be ready for sections?
I just think get a lot of reps in is what we're trying to do, but also I think we are going to have to set some goals. Like one of the things that we talked about tonight was we're not going to try to let any team score over 15 points, and so that'll hopefully keep our intensity up and give us some sort of goal to shoot towards here. But it is difficult coming out every night and playing teams that can't compete with us super well. It's hard for the girls to stay motivated, I think, but they have a good attitude about it, and so far I think we've been playing pretty well. Tonight was a little shaky at times. I felt like we lost a little bit of focus, and I think that's maybe a part of it too. But I just think them setting some goals like keep opponents under 15 and maybe come up with some other ones will hopefully keep our intensity up.
Okay, appreciate it very much. Thanks and good luck.
All right, thanks, Jim.
All right, we're joined now by Rachel Weber, one of the outside hitters for the Raiders. Rachel, fantastic match tonight. The team, of course, off to a very blistering start, especially on offense, doing really well. I think hitting well over 400, and certainly tonight really added to that. What do you think the keys have been to the really fast start here?
I think we've just been grinding in practice a lot and been running a lot of different things. So when we get set, different types of balls, we know how to hit them because we've just been practicing everything. I think we're just seeing the court really well. Like all of our hitters are getting up high and seeing the court, and I think that just comes from experience. Like years, we have a lot of seniors on our team, which is awesome, but even the younger girls are stepping up and they're hitting high hands, they're hitting round blocks. I think we're just seeing the court really well, and that helps.
Okay, sounds good. Now, last year you faced a lot of injury and working on overcoming that. Back this year, doing really well. Maybe just talk us through that process a little bit, how that's going, and advice for other athletes that are facing that.
So far I'm just kind of trying to work back my strength a little bit. Just been working out every day, going to PT. Some advice I would give to other people is to stay positive. I know that's cliche, but when I get negative, I don't play well and I don't practice well. And if you stay positive and you believe in yourself and you give yourself confidence, that's when you're going to be able to hit well and you're going to get higher killing percentages because you have that confidence and you believe in yourself. And at first it's going to be hard to do that, but you just got to fake it till you make it and know you're going to get through the injury.
All right, sounds good. That was Rachel Weber, folks. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, we're joined now by Tegan Timperley, setter for the Raiders varsity. Of course, we've had a season where we thought there wasn't going to be a season and things were canceled, pushed out, delayed. Then the club stepped in to help with that. Now we're back with a season. It's a lot of ups and downs. How's the team been coping with that?
I think that we came back even stronger than ever, and I think we're really getting back into the swing of things, and I think it's going really well.
Okay, and for you this year, a change. You know, we lost Lyda King last year as our setter. Of course, you've stepped in as the starting setter for the varsity here. And how's that going? What adjustments have you noticed from JV, and what do you think the keys have been to the success so far?
Well, I've really enjoyed it. I think we have to be really fast. The game's fast-paced, but it gets better and better each time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Tegan, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, on the Eastridge side, the progression of the Eastridge program has been good this year. Our hitting percentage has gone up each match that we've played, so 314 to 371 to 381.
Your sound effects with the hitting has been amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I can only do that on the road. When I do that at the scores table, it gets a little interesting.
Well, I heard it. I mean, I was sitting
Sometimes
6 feet from you.
Yes, it can't be held.
Can't be held back.
Are you adding in some... is that what you're doing?
No, it's coming from the lungs,
and
it's coming from pure passion and instinct. Okay. It's not premeditated; it's just accidental. But I'm a parent. I'm a fan. I love the sport. I love to see the girls. I love to see them celebrate.
Yeah.
I love to see them hit the floor hard. Come up with a little scuffed skin, maybe a tear out of a bruise. It's all a part of the pure passion for what they're doing.
This is going in it was the injury aspect you were going with there was a little bit. I'm but now I
little too much?
No. You turned it around with the whole passion for the game, so I'm on board with you now.
All right.
It's part of the game. It's what makes good volleyball because you know that their heart is in it and their energy is in it, and that's why they're doing it.
That's right.
I think that's the big thing is to, again, we've talked about this before, you're watching players play the game that they love, and that's what we're really looking for here.
Yep, and we're fortunate, I think, that they can play the game that they love right now and that we can be there to watch them do it and make it the best that they can.
Yeah, and we're thankful to folks like Prep Spotlight TV that let us watch it. Easy Reels is the application we use. There's other platforms out there, but you think when I was a kid going through this, had this happened, it would have been shut down. There was no streaming. There was no, maybe you could get a radio station there to call a game, but the technology today and the fact that it enables people to watch, I think, Tom was watching the ticker. We crossed 30 viewers, and we would like to say that each of those viewers had a viewing party of 10 people, so we're way north of 300. Okay, so not really, but we had quite a few viewers, and
we'll
we
go
actually.
with your math. That's all
Yeah,
right.
I like your
thanks.
math. I think it's good. I think you should go with it.
Good. But we had some
Reminds me of
comments. We had some
algebra.
people thinking algebra.
Ooh,
X
don't
plus
bring that up. I don't want to think about
Y.
math. I just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
we don't need to go back to those days, right?
But we had some Park Wolfpack families write in on the chat thanking us for what we were doing, and it feels good that we can help people see their kids play that might not be able to see their kids play.
No, I think you're right. We're lucky in that regard that there is technology today that we didn't have years ago. And if we think back to what we had in my day, it was you were lucky if you got into the annual, maybe with 1 or 2 pictures for whatever team you played on.
Were those Polaroids?
They might have. Well, they were black and white. I don't know. Even when we're Polaroids, they were black and white. So maybe the newspaper came once and got you, but that was about it. So it is a whole different game now. We do have things that we can do that can support these kids and give them some ways to remember these things by too. I think that's a lot of it, is be able to look back and say, yeah, that's that year, but we did figure out a way to make things happen and still make the best out of it.
Well, I think commend both of you guys for doing this, your investment, your time, and your energy, and your hearts in putting this together so that parents and players and we can all see it and through you guys, and that you guys are making it all work and making it better too.
Yeah, it is certainly enjoyable.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you for organizing running the Booster Club the way you do. It's awesome. Getting Jim up here, take some photos.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
I can't wait to get home and see what I got. I think there's some good stuff in there.
I'm anxious to see what you got too.
Yeah, I don't know what order you want me to do the games in. You want to see varsity first? You want to see?
Whatever you choose. You're the expert.
Best shots first.
That JV match, I tell you, I got a lot of good stuff out of that. Just because it was a longer match and back and forth, and there's going to be some good stuff in there.
That Tom Berger's a pretty photogenic
I know.
broadcaster.
I had the camera aimed out there. I don't know what was happening on the court. I didn't really see any of that, but what I saw up in a broadcast booth was pretty exciting stuff. So
That's awesome. I was trying to make some photobomb moments, like maybe you were getting a right side, and I'd be like, but I don't think that happened. Never know.
Stranger things have happened.
This is true. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you stopping by here, and that was Connie Galvin from East Ridge here. So we appreciate her time with us. I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in here. Let's get somebody else in there and tell me if that camera is still running.
Preferably somebody with a Coors Light.
That might be good. I may be running out of time on that camera, but I think I got everything in that I wanted to say. I do want to go over just a couple of stats from Northfield. We talked about being off to a good start. I'm just going to mention that they are hitting, as a team, these are team stats, they're hitting .424 through 3 matches, which is just really fantastic.
That's amazing, Jim. That is really amazing.
It's really good. I think that's just a testament. We have to also mention we have a new setter this year, Tegan Timperley, and you'll hear from her in the interview there. You probably, those of you who are on the recorded version of this, already heard that. She had some nice things to say. She's come into the varsity program this year after having played on JV last year and taking over for Lyda King, who carried us all last season into all the successes that we had. Aces were at 26. Service errors, coaches talk about service errors, and, they accept some of them because they do want the kids to serve aggressively. And so I think if that number was 0, they would say, well, you're not trying hard enough. We have 11. I'm guessing they'd like to see that down a little bit after 3 matches. I think they can accept 1 or 2 a match, so you'd like to see a number like 6 or 7 maybe rather than 11. Maybe there's some things to work on there, but again, those are kind of where we're at through the first 3 matches here. And again, that's not a lot of time to have gotten things going, given that the season was just restarted recently. So I think a lot of room for improvement, and the coaches are always going to say that. We talked about that earlier. If a coach says, I'm happy, I don't have anything I want to change, you're never going to hear a coach say that. So
that's a short career for that coach.
Yeah, very short career. I think there's always improvements to make, and you go from where you're at and try and get better.
Yeah, and I think, Jim, as you talk through those stats, a better than 2-to-1 aces to service errors. Like you said, 11's a lot. And depending on the timing of those 11, could be even more critical. But when you're talking more than 2-to-1 aces per those service errors, you start to have the evaluation of, okay, well, if I'm getting 2 points for one at the end of the day, I'm making progress.
Yeah.
It's situations and when you're not acing the ball and you're having service errors, that's a problem. So, yeah, maybe you want a higher ratio, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 maybe, 5-to-1 even.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, you've got to try.
Right.
And sometimes trying causes errors.
Yeah, I think I always used to equate this a little bit to free throws in basketball. I always think you should be able to make 8 or 9 out of 10 for your free throws. But that's a little bit different situation. You're not trying to be aggressive with your free throws. You're standing there at the line, the game is stopped, there's quiet, everyone has to stand on the side while you are able to just take control and do whatever routine you like to do and make that free throw. It's a little bit different here. You are trying to be aggressive. You're trying to set your team up for transition, and you want to be aggressive with those serves. And because of that, you're going to see some of those kinds of errors. So I think I've changed my tune on that a little bit. You do accept some of these things in the spirit of being an aggressive team, and I think most coaches would be happy that their kids are serving aggressively, swinging aggressively on the attack, not backing off. They want to see them lay it all out there and use the talents that they have. So I think I've changed my tune on that a little bit.
It's good to be able to change your tune, Jim. That tells you that you're receptive to what's going on in your environment. You're willing to admit that you may not always have the correct or most accurate thought, and you're willing to take charge of your own thought process and adjust as you go.
Yeah, a lot of buzzwords in there. That's good.
Was that buzzwords?
There was a few in there.
I got a little corporate on that one,
I was starting to head towards intense collaboration. I don't know. I won't go into that. That's another whole joke. We're going to start
in an agile environment.
An agile environment.
Iterative.
Yeah, there's. You could even bring in some malapropisms here and make up your own words. I don't know. I think we all suffer from that stuff a little bit. But, yeah, anyway, just to kind of go over where we're at tonight, we are at Carmine's in Woodbury. You can look up where they are. We had a great meal here tonight. I ordered the halibut, and that definitely hit the spot. We're enjoying a few adult beverages here, and some of the Eastridge parents are sitting around visiting here. We're going to see if anybody else wants to come over. Otherwise, I think we've kind of covered most of what we wanted to hit here in the broadcast. If you're watching us live, we appreciate you staying up. It's coming up on 11:15 here, so local time.
Is it that late?
Yeah, it is. And
interesting. My watch is broke.
It's nice that you hung with us tonight. Hopefully you were able to watch the live broadcast. These are some good teams, and if you're new to the sport, I would say no matter where you are, get out and check out your local school. This is probably the best thing you can do. Most of the schools are live streaming. If you aren't a parent of a player, you're probably going to have a difficulty getting into a live match, but there are a lot of options to go out and watch. Maybe you're a grandparent of somebody who plays. There's different ways to support the kids. If you don't know a lot about this sport, you need to check it out. It is really good, and it is just a blast to cover these kids. And again, we talk about the sport that they love and be able to support them in that.
Yeah, I think you're dead on there, Jim. Regardless of whether or not you have a student athlete engaged, it's just doing what we can to bring normalcy. And sports is an activity, the arts, there's all sorts of activities that these high schoolers are missing out on, or at least participating in a limited fashion. And what we can do as parents, as people in the community, is support that, regardless of what they're doing. So, yes, for you and I, the passion of volleyball is huge. Our daughters play volleyball. At the same time, it doesn't matter the activity.
Right.
Showing up, supporting, doing what you can to support, it's important for these kids.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of other activities, a lot of other sports, but there's music, there's theater, there's different ways and different groups of kids that have been impacted by this whole thing. So, certainly we hope that they've all been able to also find ways to do these things that they enjoy. And I think that's just kind of the theme here, is you find a way. We've talked about the advice that we get from the perpetual candidate, Dr. David Titus Rowe. We're going to run through that really quick again, because this is good stuff, folks, and you want to pay attention to it. Dieter always says you want to go in the corner. If things are tough, you're going to go in the corner. You might read a book, and you can equate that to learning. Take some time, do some learning if you are not able to do other things, and think things over. And he always talks about that. Go in the corner, read a book, think it over, and the number one thing that he gives for advice is to wait it out. And I think that's something that we've seen in action here. You wait things out, good things happen. So we had our season initially pushed out. There was some fear it would be just completely canceled. And hey, all of a sudden here we are in October, and we're playing volleyball. So I think that's a positive, and you got to take away the best things that you can from this, and that's the part you get for waiting it out. So hopefully that continues, and we're able to keep doing this.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, Jim. And I guess I'm a little confused. I always thought, listening to Dieter, the most important thing was sipping on the beer in the corner while you're reading a book, waiting things out.
Yeah,
maybe I missed that message.
I think
somehow.
He forgot the beer. And we got some beer here. I'm enjoying a lovely IPA, and I know Dieter is a fan of IPAs. I'm not sure that he's watching the broadcast at this time, but I'm going to have to mention it to him. Maybe we'll add a little bit of a recorded message from him. There might be a premium cost for that. I'm not sure. He is running for, the last I heard, was dog catcher of the Phillips neighborhood in South Minneapolis. So not sure if that's true or not. But anyway, we do appreciate the support of Dieter. We're going to see if we're going to get anybody else in here. Otherwise, I'm thinking we're getting close to wrapping up here.
Some looks.
Yeah, we got people looking over. They're interested in what we're doing, but will they put the headset on and join in? That's the big question.
Will they take the plunge?
I think what I'm going to do, Mike, is stop the camera. If we want to keep going here,
we've got someone join. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to just take a quick look at that.
Tom steps in. Mr. Tom Berger, welcome to the show.
Good evening,
to the program.
Mike. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I mean, how couldn't I, being the co-host of the JV program?
Well, co-host might be a little bit overstated, but joining in for some slim commentary would be more.
We've talked a lot about trying to bring the experience of high school back to these kids who are just struggling with the COVID era, and doing what we can to try to bring the game to people and help them. They watch the videos.
The girls,
yeah, absolutely. They watch those replays. They want to see themselves. They want to improve. They want to just see themselves enjoying life, because it's tough. It's tough on these kids.
It's been a long time coming for them, and we're 3 games in, and you can see it on their faces how much fun they're having.
Yeah.
Parents, for that matter, too.
Well, if we had a reverse camera at all these parents here, you would see plenty of fun. I think we
plenty of smiles. Yeah.
We've been asked not to show the crowd of folks here. Haven't signed their waivers.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, though. You just think about the ability to be able to watch the film, enjoy it for what it's worth, enjoy it for as long as we have it. Things we could complain about, some of that fades away a little bit, and you just enjoy the moment.
No sense complaining. Your kids are out there on the floor doing what they love to do.
Yeah.
We had an interesting discussion earlier with Connie, actually, around Northfield is actually contemplating. I don't know if this will come to fruition, but each student or each athlete gets 2 tickets, right? And generally the parents scoop them up. So what if the parents would say, you know what, on this particular game, we're going to give the tickets to the students, and we can get at least a moderate-sized student section into the building, and the kids can, play with their peers, and the peers can
experience that. I think that'd be a phenomenal idea. The fact that we have the option of a live stream, parents could get together and watch together and still have fun.
We've talked about our watch parties for the JV. Yeah. We're convinced that the groups were 10 to 15 per viewer.
That's a fact. I would believe that to be true, and I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that's something you could propose and
maybe it's historically, right, at Eastridge. I'm sure you have a similar theme, but we've had Pack the Perch nights where it's really all the kids get in free, and we do a bunch of giveaways and that sort of thing. We could do virtually a Pack the Perch in which all the tickets doled to the students or the athletes would go to students, and to try to get kids in the environment. And yes, separating kids, being socially distant with kids, probably a little more challenging than parents. But at the same time, if you were to get 40 to 50 kids in the gym, it might be a good experience.
Have them take up one side of the bleachers. You could make a joke of it to have it separated out. They would have fun with it. They'd understand the significance of it. They'd all have masks on. I think you could do it in such a way that would allow both from them viewing it, that experience, for the players to be able to have that. I mean, that's such a big part of sports.
Yes,
being able to play in front of your friends, and of course they're not going to be watching it online. So
that's right.
I think that would be a trade-off that the parents would absolutely welcome.
And no offense to the attending parents, but the decibel level of a bunch of students may outdo what we're experiencing today.
Yeah. And there's just no nothing that can compare to the when the students start getting. I mean, you take a game like versus Woodbury, for instance, and you have the back and forth of the fans. That is so fun. I mean, it's fun to be a part of as a student. It's got to be. I can only imagine how fun that is if you're an athlete out on the floor and listening to that. It just adds to the full experience.
What's so fun is an observer, because I can't tell what they're chanting back and forth, so you try to decipher what they're saying to each other, and that's part of the.
If we're announcing that game, we might struggle with that a little bit.
I might.
We could make things up on what's being said.
Yeah, I think my daughter Laura mentioned the same thing. They are missing the students. We have had great student support the last few years here, as we've had really good teams, and I think she just kind of came up with that idea. What if the parents donated their tickets just for one match, so we could get the students in there, because I think they really feed off of that energy. We had a match against New Prague last year there was a lot of fans from New Prague and our school, and the student section was packed. It was a 5-setter. That was the best match of the year. It was just thrilling, and the place would explode on certain points.
Those are the ones everyone remembers.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I wonder if you really try to put it to paper and try to map out what that would look like, if you had enough time where you get agreement from the parents, you get agreement from the AD, and you start to put it out to the students, have them sign up, and if you get a couple days out and it's just not coming to fruition, pull the plug maybe. But I think if you put it out with enough time, it would and it probably would be something. If you had one sport do it, it would quickly transfer to the other sports too. I'm thinking about football. We got a football game tomorrow night, and that football is just as important for the fans as it is for the players. I mean, that's a rite of passage to come in and be able to go cheer for the football team. So that would be interesting if we could jumpstart that.
I think that's right, and I think you could even rewrite the guidelines, if you will, because I think the 2 tickets per athlete is a general guideline to be safe to stay under the regulations. And so if you were to say, well, let's not go 2 tickets per athlete. Let's look at the total number of people in the building, look at the staff that it takes to run the building, and then release the rest to students. And it might be 2.5, it might be 3. Maybe you would edge up to 4 students per athlete.
So
you don't know.
What I do know, at least for football, is they have determined that 250 is the maximum capacity. That's been a state guideline. If you have one entrance, one exit. If you have separate entrance and exit, you can have each section actually contain up to 250. If you can socially distance those 250, you can have as many sections as you have entrance and exits. So, with the gym at the Perch, each side could easily separate out 250, and you could have a separate the opposing side now, you could easily exit out the upper deck over there. Super easy.
Yep.
And for football, you could literally split it into 3 sections. The main bleachers cut in half, and they can go out one side, and then you have the other side of the field.
Side,
So 750 fans my goodness, the amount of student participation at that point could be. You really could have it look much different than.
Yeah, and
what
I have to believe that the students are looking for things to do as well, right?
Sure.
I mean, they're holed up in their houses,
For sure.
and
For sure. And I think they would really enjoy coming out and supporting their classmates and friends too as well. I think that would be a really big deal.
I think that's right.
What a fantastic suggestion. Your daughter was the one that thought of
Yeah,
that?
she kind of came up with what if all of you stayed home just for one, and we bring everybody in, kind of like you would think about other nights. We have parent night, we have senior night. Why don't we have student night? And
this is the year to do it. To be different, to be creative, and again, given the opportunity to watch it online, it's not like you're giving up the experience as a parent. You still get to see your daughter compete, and I think that's fantastic. I would be all in on helping make that happen.
Well, hopefully that's something that we can make happen in this odd year.
If only we could get to the Booster Club president and talk about that idea.
Yeah.
If only somebody knew who that was. In fact, I smell a little perfume on this microphone. That might even be from said individual.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ah, yes. Well, it's been a fun evening.
Yeah, it's been very good. Fantastic evening here all the way around. I think a lot of good volleyball played and some good discussion about the sport and other things that are going on in the world. So, yeah.
Thank you to Carmines and Woodbury.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
to Easy Reels.
Great host here. Easy
Thank you
Reels
to-
making the whole thing happen.
Do we have an over/under on total viewership? We could even give it a week. See those who wanted to listen to the podcast. What would be that over/under? What do you think that number is?
I mean, it's 4.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
The three of us will.
We're
the
not
three of us
viewers.
will-
We're not viewers.
Well, the three of us might plug in afterwards.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then we need. It's either one or two more that tips that on the
Well,
bet,
we
on
did
the
have a
bet.
caller. We had a caller
Yeah.
calling on the program
we did.
unsolicited.
Oh.
So we know that there's at least one viewer out there.
Okay.
Looks like Chris Galvin. Oh, we're getting shut down.
Oh,
4 minutes. 4
Okay.
minutes.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
well.
Well, yeah.
we've run the course here. Outlived our welcome.
As well we should. As well we should.
yeah, it's been really good. We should do this more often. I think it's really good to sit and have these discussions and think a little bit about ideas like this that might come up.
Yeah.
And, just kind of talk through the issues and so forth. I think that's really good. So,
Very good.
and
Well,
promote this great sport.
given that Carmines has been a pleasant host,
Yes.
we don't want to overdo what we're doing. And Tom, thank you for your support with JV volleyball. Jim, thank you for your photographic expertise and
I can't wait to get home and see what's in those
behind
what's
this.
in those
and
chips.
Jim, I was very impressed at Eastridge as you came to participate in the program. That was before I saw the lights. I mean, I thought I saw all of the equipment that you had to offer, and you have surpassed my already high view of your what you're able to do with all of this. So
Yeah, this
well
stuff
done.
Is,
Well
this stuff is fun.
done.
We've used this for videos in the past. We did a video last year where we had the girls. I had them come out of the dark and then walk into these lights and kind of like you would see on Monday Night Football where the players come out with kind of a tough look on their face and they go through who they are and put their name and number up. And we did a little video set to Rocket by Def Leppard. That was the song. And there's an interlude in there where we stopped and introduced each girl, and she got to walk up and give a mean look to the camera. So that's kind of where these things got their main use. It was good.
Very good. Well, I think the lights are going down. These
Yeah.
lights are up, but I think they're coming down. And again, I appreciate both your support, Easy Reels, for bringing us the platform,
Absolutely.
and
Carmine's
Yeah.
for hosting us. So.
Carmines for hosting. And
Fantastic evening tonight, folks. I appreciate everybody that joined us, and we're going to be doing more of this, so tune in again. You know where the channel is now, and we're going to be looking for you again soon. So have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll be signing off alongside Mike Spolidoro here, and appreciate you co-hosting, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have a good night.
All right. And cut.
Southbound train. Years together, built a family and a home. Lately she's been going places she's never really been before. His heart feels like it might stop beating at times, prays it does. So he won't have to hear the truth, woman that he loves. Every day